Oh, are we dark? Oh, what's good? What's good? Hey, can we get some good light? Okay, perfect, lovely. Are we in focus? We are. Listen up, interdisciplinary artists, multi-hyphenated creatives, hybrid mixed media storytellers. Let me be real with you. We live in a contrarian society. That means, by definition of who we are, what we do, and in doing all the things that we do, leaning into our many disciplines is an act of protest, of rebellion, and of reformation. Allow me to explain all that, because I know that's a lot, but I'm going to explain that using what I call the American factory theory. My name is Ina Kai, if you're just tuning in. I am an interdisciplinary artist from Washington, D.C., and I am you, interdisciplinary and rebellious as fuck. I've been an artist all of my life. First started with music, extending to dance, creative writing, continuing on to explore theater and acting, modeling, and then creating actually a corporate career in communications and copywriting and marketing through the use of creative writing, graphic design, photography, and videography. And in 2019, I became a watercolor artist. And in that discovery of that last discipline, I decided to create my company, Black Girl Blend. Not only symbolizing the different disciplines that I choose to tell stories, but also creating a space where those stories can be produced. Stories that call to themes of memory, of ancestry, of self-definition, of identity, of healing, of tradition, of rebellion, of self-concept. Now that we've gotten all the intros out the way, let's go back to my American factory theory. So around the 18th to the 20th century, that's just the years between 1701 and 2000, we had what was called the industrial era. There was a giant shift from the way people lived and worked, a shift from agriculture and craft making or craftsmanship to big industry. That meant that we saw more factories, more machines, and welcoming in mass production. Before this big shift, time and the way we worked and lived was more seasonal. It actually followed the rhythm of the market. Work was more about sustaining the family, the community, and it wasn't really about maximizing on the largest profit. Work was also more personable. It was more tangible. People saw the fruits of their labor, of their efforts, whether it was harvesting a crop or producing a piece of furniture or blowing glass or pottery or a piece of clothing by hand. You saw the product from beginning to end. So the Industrial Revolution honestly put a stop to that. And instead, we saw a demand in what we call blue-collar work. So what we know about blue-collar work is that it often required a specialization in a skill or a trade. So these were welders, these were carpenters, these were mechanics, right, etc. These jobs were often requiring less overall mastery of how to produce the final product and more about requiring a sustained focus on a very small, repetitive task. Jobs became more repetitive and more segmented. As a worker, as an employee, or as a producer, you became a smaller piece of a much larger puzzle, and consequently, feeling less connected to the final product. The big money-making entrepreneurs at that time saw the value in this. The infamous ones, like we know, like Andrew Carnegie in steel, John Rockefeller in oil, and even Henry Ford in cars. These big entrepreneurs, who are legends to this day, saw the value And not only machinery, but also the labor force in making sure this machinery worked. But a mindset had to be enforced. Now, this was the mindset change. Blue collar work became a symbol of pride and strength, of progress, part of the American dream. How, in fact, you would get your piece of the American dream, right? Not only were these workers the essential muscle to the industrial era, but they were the backbone of society. It's how we actually built our infrastructure, our railroads, our skyscrapers, our cities, period. Now, entrepreneurs capitalized on this patriotism that was surrounding around blue collar work, marketing their industries as part of the American dream. They kept laborers motivated and focused on contributing to their piece, despite not really having a clear pathway to wealth building or generational wealth. Now let's talk about the parallels to the educational system. Now, believe it or not, the American school system was actually developed during the Industrial Revolution, designed, in fact, to mirror exactly how factory work was structured. Specifically with the bell system, much like factory bells, signaling shifts, school bells regulated the flow of the day. Same thing with the standardization of the grading system. The same grading system mirrored the way that quality was controlled and monitored in factories. Students were graded on a standardized grading scale, just like products and even meats. Don't forget about the lunch break. Both systems imposed regulated breaks to socialize you to have a regulated, standardized schedule. The same culture, spirit, and belief system has also permeated corporate culture, corporate America, the 9-to-5ers, right? A 9-to-5 workday, performance metrics, even office layouts like cubicles can be traced to factory systems. Pressure to make productivity needs. The same pressures to meet productivity targets or quotas that were seen in factories are also seen in corporate spaces, and consequently the same mental and emotional and psychological consequences erupt, like burnout, stress, alienation. The industrial model that has permeated our school systems and our workplace after the factories are all shut down has prioritized productivity and efficiency and being just a small piece of the puzzle, working towards someone else's dream as ideal, as most socially acceptable. Gone is the aspire to individuality, creativity, or even prioritizing your well-being. So, multi-hyphenate creatives, interdisciplinary artists, hybrid, mixed media storytellers. Where does that leave us? Let's get into the trade-off of the lean in. See you in the next episode.